Over the weekend, Western Washington got a little bit more connected. We're talking about Sound Transit's opening of 2 brand new light rail stations of the 2 line on the east. The new stations are at Marymoor Village and downtown Redmond. I even got in on the action yesterday, riding from Belred Stop in Bellevue to Redmond Town Center. Here with more on this and what's next for our region's trains is Seattle Times transportation writer Mike Lindblom. Welcome back.
Good morning, Susie.
This is fun. I actually had a really good time yesterday. Okay, tell us about these 2 new stations and what this means for our region.
Okay, so these are the 2 stations that go from Overlake, from Microsoft downhill into downtown Redmond. It's taken Redmond about 28 years to get them since the first wave of Sound Transit taxes passed. So you have Marymoor Village Station, which is on the northeast corner of the 1 square mile park. It's next to the bicycle velodrome. Sometimes you'll see lights there at night. It's easy to spot. And then from there, it makes a fishhook shaped turn into downtown Redmond. It goes under Highway 520 and then loops a little bit west into a downtown area that's been basically rebuilt to add trails and thousands of mid-rise apartment units.
And what I thought when you said that they've built all of the trails and the units, I was actually really surprised to see from that vantage point when I rode it yesterday. Is I hadn't seen all those trails. It's beautiful, and that fish hook, as you call it, was actually super cool, because I was thinking, how are they gonna do this so that Marymoor's first and Redmond's next? And
right, that's its own story, and there's more than one story. That route has evolved since 2003, when a former Redmond mayor, Rosemary Ives, proposed to put a local monorail there. Sound Transit was so far away that she got frustrated. She even went to the federal government and tried to get a maglev from Overlake to Redmond, trying to play off of Microsoft's explosive growth and Redmond as a synonym for innovation. So anyway, that all evolved, and Sound Transit adopted more or less that corridor. It gives you a little bit of proximity to Sammamish, 3 miles away. They also pay for Sound Transit, don't have much transit service now. They will park and ride or take a metro bus to Marymoor. So you're catching both those places, plus going to the park. I live in West Seattle. There's no way I would drive to Marymoor through traffic and parking hassles to go to a concert, but I would probably go there on light rail next year or whenever they connect it.
Yep, or the movies. It's beautiful. So these stations are great, but the 2 lines on the east side don't connect to the line in Seattle yet. What's the status of that?
Okay, so it was supposed to be done in 2023. There are 5,400 concrete track ties called plinths that were defective. Problems started to arise in 2019. They tried to fix them kind of quietly, and then they tried to patch them. We broke the story in 2022 after Sound Transit notified some sources of ours that it wasn't going to be ready. So they tried to fix them. They had to break them up, rebuild them all. That's also taking longer than expected. The official date was December 27 of this year. It is sliding into winter, sometime in early 2026. And if it slides again, they're going to run into some problems, because Federal Way is supposed to open in the spring. And it's really hard to open 2 lines at the same time, because you need experts to train the new operators and run the electrical signal tests and all that. So, it's going to be dramatic.
It's going to be dramatic.
And there's also these unique track joints that flex in 6 directions on the floating bridge. Those need a lot of extra trial runs to be sure they're safe.
We should say this is not easy, the floating bridge. We talked a little bit about the Federal Way, but talk to me again about that extension that's going to go to Federal Way. That's supposed to open up from Angle Lake. It's supposed to open up next year. Is that going to happen?
They're trending on schedule, unless there's some kind of hang up where I-90 influences it. But Federal Way is 98, 99% done. Last summer they finished this huge bridge over wetlands that you can see from I-5. It's known as Structure C. We did a big story about it. And so that's done, and they're towing trains through. I think they may even be doing live powered trains by now, and it's on course and doing okay for spring of 26.
Hey, that's good news. And looking out long term, they're coming to you, right? The lines in Seattle out to West Seattle and Ballard. What's the latest on those projects?
Yeah, I wouldn't lay any money on when West Seattle and Ballard get theirs. Well, the cost of the project has more than doubled, and it's believed to be around $7 billion. But that all needs to be rerun. The Ballard line was at $11.5 billion, and its cost hasn't really been drilled down and reevaluated in almost 4 years. So,
wow.
In the next half year to year and a half, you'll start seeing hopefully some more reliable numbers. Sound Transit did a big reorg, brought in experts from Ottawa and Los Angeles to try to make sense of the projects, look for savings, but there's only so much savings to be had if you're drilling deep through downtown Seattle or doing kind of an amphibious mix of surface tunnel. Huge Duwamish River Bridge, they didn't. That's going to be way more than they expected when people pass the ballot measure because you're going in some of the weakest soil.
Well, and I also think it's been a frustration about finances and not being upfront, and we appreciate you holding feet to the fire on that and getting us those numbers. So thank you so much. Much more to come, but it's exciting. So exciting to have these lines. I had a great time, so it was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, people had a great time out there on Saturday.
Go to Redmond and have lunch and enjoy it. Thank you, Mike.